or Mini Clubmans, Hillman Imp probably, something like that. But look at this kind of stuff. There's a little Rally Wisp. Oh look, and Twiggy. I bet she's not really riding it. Hey, and check out this, my favourite. A Mark II Rally Chopper. In purple, the only colour to have in my view. These are the cars and the bikes I remember from my own childhood. And they've even got my favourite toy, aged 15, Simon the Computer Game. It's like going into a room and there's a smell that takes you straight back to school or whatever. Just seeing a GT 185, you know. Back in the day, those were the things to have, man. You know, with your Centurion lid, eh? Next door, the toy theme continues with a fabulous room full of miniature cars, Meccano models, and most charming of all, handmade bikes and planes knocked up in sheds and workshops decades ago. This museum makes me realise two things. First, never hand over any toys to your kids. Just show them the catalogue and then preserve the goodies for posterity. And secondly, the cars and bikes that today we take for granted were once seen as amazing, precious things. Do you think we'd look back at those periods with rose-tinted glasses, or was it a special time for the development of automotive legacy?
It was a big deal to own a car. Back in the 1950s, there were about 2 million cars on the road of Britain, which sounds like quite a lot, but today there's nearly 30 million cars on the road of Britain. Today's cars, well, you take it for service, a year later you take it in for another service, you don't play around with it. Back then, every Saturday and Sunday you'd be out there doing some work on the engine, tinkering away, so your relationship with the car's different.
Don't come here if you're a bean-eating, sandal-wearing, tree-hugging automotive refusenik. But if your bedtime reading is a spark plug catalogue and petrol smells as sweet to you as perfume, then you won't be disappointed. I promise you, it is, well, in my little world, a seventh wonder. And talking of wandering, it's time to get back on my own museum piece. After spending a morning immersed in Britain's automotive past, it feels even better to be riding this classic bike. Next stop, Coal Towers, before we head out on our final excursion. Coming up, a sob story. The salesman said he was going to have it, but I came in and I took it off. Mate, if you believe that, I mean, you believe anything. Followed by a magnificent ride in the country. I'm in the Cotswolds in the heart of England, coming to the end of one of my most unusual road trips, a tarmac-burning staycation in my own backyard. Now, so far you've had to put up with my bikes and my rear end, but for my final ride, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to motor out to the picturesque village of Southrop, but this time I'm not going solo. Now look, motorcycling is something that you should do with your friends. I normally, though, just pick out a bike and go for a ride, or with my mate Skid over there, who works with me. But today I thought, just to kind of finish off the show, why don't we get some friends, well, if you can call them that, involved. Hey look, I tell you what, check out the eclectic mix of bikes. The most eccentric bike, I think you'll agree, is my mate Alan's Flying Milliard. Powered by a 5-litre aircraft engine, it looks like a prop from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but goes like a rocket. Did you do everything on it? Is there anything that you didn't build?
No, I mean, my friend paints it for me, Neil. He does the painting, and everything else is handmade. I made wooden moulds and got the crankcases cast by a company in London. Other than that, everything's in my garage at home, which is quite small.
Alan's also famous for adding a cylinder or two to Kawasaki triples. He'd undoubtedly love to get his hands on Harry's 750, but Harry's a traditionalist.
He's 42 years old. It's a two-stroke. I just love two-stroke, the simplicity of them, the noise, and then you can just leave the smoke screen and it just disappears in your mirrors.
Going back to shed-built specials, here's Dave's Bobber. It's got a Suzuki front end, a Triumph T100 engine, and some lovely touches. And it's got the Von Dutch.
Yeah, the
Oh,
flying
there,
icon,
mate.
yeah.
You've got to have a bit of that.
Twin carbs. What else can you say about
But
it?
all
It's just
built
a fun
by
one.
you.
Yeah, I built that about 4 years ago now.
Yeah. And it's a rider as well as, it's not a
use this-
garage crew,
No,
is it?
no. You can tell by dirt on it. I love riding it because it rides so well.
And talking of something that rides really well, John's MV Augusta is road-going perfection. I think that is the most beautiful motorcycle, one of them ever created. That's the 750, is it?
That's a 750, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't believe it's 16 years old, and it's amazing. But
I mean, just look at those pipes.
that's why I brought it, really, the pipes.
Yeah, just
to be
the
honest.
pipes on the back.
They've always been a bit ahead of everybody else with design, haven't they?
I love it.
I think so, and they are a beautiful thing. But as for Guy's BMW, I'm not sure that beautiful is the word I'd use. Guy says to me, right, when he brought this back, he goes, do you like the colour, mate? First edition colours. I tell you what, the salesman said to me, right? The salesman said he was going to have it, but I came in and I took it off him. Mate, if you believe that, I mean, you believe anything.
It wasn't just that. It's an impulse buy, I must admit. But why not? I love it.
What I think about these bikes is that unless you're Guy Martin or John McGuinness, right, are you actually to the limit on those? or
No,
not?
nowhere near. It's way more than I can use, put it that way. And my capabilities, it outstrips it by about 10,000%. However, cruising along on it, it's just lovely. It was cheap and they did me a great deal and I thought, I'm having it.
Each to his own then, but for my taste, nothing beats vintage British iron, like Nigel's Triumph 750, an export model for the US.
It's a classic oily reckoning, 1978 US spec Triumph Bonneville.
Mate, we love them T140. Is it left shift?
Yeah.
It is, and it won't go into neutral if the engine is running, so it's very frustrating.
That's
to
a
reach
Triumph.
over.
But basically, British bikes for you is where it's at.
Yeah, I had one of these when I was 17 and a bit of a born-again biker really, but
I think we all are, aren't we?
well,
Yeah. I keep getting reborn every year, with a different bike. And for another classic Triumph, look no further than Angus's Triumph TR6, the same model that Steve McQueen rode in The Great Escape.
I've actually normally have AJS's, but I love this bike and I thought it was a great day, get it out and give it a ride, and it's an absolute joy to ride.
I love it. It's Steve McQueen all over in it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, right, now you've got a kind of vague idea of my eclectic, strange mix of mates and also the motorcycles they ride. So there's really one more thing to do, and that is, actually ride them. Today we've only got time for a quick trip out, but we're going to take it easy and enjoy each other's company. Some of the roads are so narrow that we go single file, but safety's crucial when you're in a pack. The key thing is to stick to the same speed and keep an eye on everyone else around you. True, we're more mild bunch than wild bunch, so there's no need to lock up your daughters or your prize ball, but there's nothing like taking over the road with a gang of like-minded bikers. It's like you're a solo artist who's joined an 8-piece band. When everyone's in sync, there's nothing like it. True, you have to ride differently. Even if John's MV Augusta can get from 0 to 60 in just a few seconds, when he's in a pack, he takes it easy and sticks to the speed of the slowest rider. For my final day, I've chosen my pimped-up Jeezy Street Fighter. Compared to the Flying Milliard, the shape is conventional, but it's the nearest thing on these roads to a mobile tattoo. The paintwork cost me a remortgage. If it gets wet, it's a nightmare to clean, but on a day like this, I've just got to ride it. And when I look at all these different bikes and all these different riders, it's amazing how distinctive we all are. But that's the great thing about biking. You can be an individual, be as eccentric as you like, but at the same time, when you go out like this, you're part of a community. So there you have it. Me, my mates, and my backyard. If this isn't heaven, I don't know what is. What a fantastic little ride. Now I guess, as always, it's about that time to find out whether riding the Cotswolds is truly a world's greatest motorcycle ride. I mean, obviously for me it is, but probably for you lot, I'm slightly biased. So we'll start with the upsides. The Cotswolds is simply one of the most beautiful parts of Britain. People come from all over the world for views like this, and if you see them from the saddle of a bike, all the better. The towns and villages might be a little chocolate box, but for all you petrol heads out there, there's a surprising amount to do. If you want to ogle at cars and bikes, then there's a great little museum. If you want more active pursuits, then you'll find that here too. And if I can offload Tommy for a couple of afternoons, I'll be more than happy. A couple of months, even better.
No, you're rubbish.
The downside, of course, is the scale of it. I may have had some great rides, but the longest has been 15 miles. In the end, as the old saying goes, size matters. And because it's such a small region, you can never really hunker down and get into that bike zen state that only comes when you're in the saddle for hours on end. Okay, so riding the Cotswolds isn't a world's greatest motorcycle ride, but while you're planning your ride of a lifetime, whether it's on Route 66 or South Africa, take time to embrace your local roads. Then you can have your very own world's greatest motorcycle rides every day of the week.
Explore